What's up, everybody, here on a Friday, TGIF, here in South Florida. So, if you saw the picture I put up with Macaulay Culkin screaming, with Joe Biden kind of smirking, yep, yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yeah, it looks like yesterday, the 15th, Joe Biden announced his plan for what's called economic rescue, $1.9 trillion of economic rescue. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, rescue might seem like sticking someone's head under the water.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So today's video, or today's show, might be kind of short. Depends on how I get into it here, but I've been telling you guys for quite some time, watch out. Watch out what happens in the near future. This is way before the election. I just saw the tea leaves and I could see where things were going. And it wasn't hard to see with all these eviction moratoriums and foreclosure bans and things of that nature. Where was it going to end? Where the COVID doesn't seem like it's ever going away. And some people actually have said that we just have to learn to live with it. And if that's the case, if we're going to have to live with COVID as a part of our lives. Ooh, where's my grammar teacher would have slapped me if she heard me say that. If it's going to be a part of our daily life from here on out, does that mean the eviction bans are going to be a part of our daily lives here on out? If you're a landlord and you're a small landlord, mom and pop landlord, if you're a mom and pop landlord, meaning, 10 units and under, maybe 15 units and under, how many units can you afford to have where the tenants aren't paying any rent? How long would you be able to survive if you weren't collecting rent every single month for months at a time? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Barry Cunningham. I'm a real estate investor here in South Florida and also doing some real estate development, some stuff that's under development, doing some market research, but primarily right now looking at the market to get ready to buy homes, sell homes, flip homes, all the kind of stuff that us real estate investors do. And I've been salivating because I've been seeing what's been coming to the market. And it's amazing. It's not like I had, I always talk about the crystal ball. It's not like I had a crystal ball. I just had a bunch of data. I had a bunch of data that a lot of other people either didn't want to look at or didn't know how to read. And so I told people, hey, listen, this is back in August and September. There's an iceberg dead ahead. Huge iceberg. Huge, monumental size iceberg. And everybody's ignoring it. They're just sailing straight along, head first into it. Everything's great. Nothing's the matter. The real estate market is smoking hot, and let's just go full speed. Let's go Thelma and Louise off the cliff. And now it's beginning to take fruition. Now that crystal ball is becoming much clearer. It's not cloudy white. We're actually seeing what's in this bubble. Well, there's an inauguration taking place next week, but Joe Biden has already announced his plans for your business. Two things jumped off the website at me. One, mandating that $15 an hour minimum wage, which we'll talk about because it doesn't really affect a lot of real estate investors. But more importantly, let's talk about his plans for economic recovery. What does he plan? What is economic recovery? I mean, are we just about out of the COVID, or doesn't look like it? What I'm seeing is Joe Biden is talking about a $1.9 trillion economic rescue package. Economic and 1.9 trillion is almost like a malapropism. They shouldn't be in the same sentence. Who knows where this money is going to fall out of the sky, how it's going to get paid for, but he's going to spend it. And he's going to hurt your business. Told you guys. Now it's a matter of no more whining, being a big boy and a big girl, and figuring out how we're going to live with this, how we're going to still make money. I know how. I told you that too. I've told you how we make money if Biden was elected. Now he's elected. He's going to be inaugurated next week. And now you better know what to do and how to adapt quickly. So let's look at his plan here. I'm going to skip the mumbo jumbo for the unemployed, yada, yada, stimulus payments. Talked about that and all this stuff. But let's get down here. Okay, you ready? You following me? I'm going to just move so you can see this entirety. The plan would provide $25 billion in rental assistance for low and moderate income households. Low and moderate income households. You notice that subtle change? You notice before it was anyone who may have been behind in rent. Now it's going to be a limit on threshold, whereas you may have to pay into it, but it's only going to low and moderate income households. That's a huge, huge asterisk. But let's continue. So in this thing, they say another $5 billion would be set aside to help struggling renters to pay their utility bills. Great, that's a very noble thing to do. Biden is also calling for $5 billion to help states and localities assist those at risk of experiencing homelessness. Great. How are you going to do that? Well, the plan, and I'm going to just go ahead and highlight this because some of you guys are going to say Barry's making it up, and I don't want you to think I'm making it up. In fact, I'm going to make this even bigger so you guys understand what the heck he's saying here. The plan would extend the federal eviction moratorium set to expire on January 31st. Remember, Trump extended it to January 31st. Biden is going to extend the eviction moratorium to September 30th. September 30th. That's 9 months from now, 8 months from now. Yeah, 9 months. So the earliest you would receive income is October. And you're not going to be able to evict somebody who can't pay. I've told you guys that this was a friggin' nightmare and it was coming. The iceberg was dead ahead. I had my crystal ball back in September and October, and now here it is. You've just ran into that iceberg. Bam! Landlords are an endangered species, not just in South Florida, but across the country. If you're a landlord today and you've been an investor looking for rental property, and the realtor that you were working with didn't tell you, hey, listen, there's a huge flipping iceberg dead ahead. There's something you might want to be aware of. I'm not sure how it's going to affect you, Mr. Buyer, but I know you've got all these pro formas and projections and income statements and everything. Rip it up, throw it away, because it doesn't mean shit. They're going to put in, and I just read it to you, a plan where evictions cannot happen until at least September of 2021 of this year. 8 to 9 months away. And there's no guarantee they won't extend it. Remember, because the COVID's never gone away. COVID's not stopping. So who knows? There's just been no end to this. And now we're talking about September 30th. Now, I don't want to blame this on realtors because anyone buying a rental property should be doing their own due diligence. You should never be taking the word of the salesman. I wouldn't go on a car lot and have someone say, this is one of the nicest cars we have on the lot. It's got, 4-wheel drive, tires are great, transmission is fine. You can get in this car today for X amount of dollars. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. I'm going to have somebody else inspect this. I'm going to do some work. I'm going to look up, how these cars trend over a certain period of time. I do that when I look at buying a car, and I definitely do that when I'm looking at buying property. Did you know Did you look at this? It's not a surprise. Did you understand that it's possible that if you didn't have a tenant that could pay their rent, that there was a possibility that they wouldn't be paying for a long time? Well, if you've been watching this show, you know, you would know. I've made several videos telling you about the cancel rent movement. I've been telling you over and over and over again that people in South Florida may never have to pay rent again to a landlord. I've been sounding the alarm. I've been pulling the bell. I've been, breaking the glass. And nobody, well, I won't say nobody. A lot of people have emailed me and contacted me, but many people just and walked headfirst into it. Bam. Ran into the iceberg. There's nothing I could do about that. I tried the best I could to let people know what was coming. And if you didn't prepare yourself and weren't ready for what was obviously foretold, and now we're seeing it happen. Oh, and it gets worse. It really gets worse. We'll talk more and watch a video when we get back.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So I've got the headset in here because I'm about to play a short video from CNBC. I love getting the nuggets that they go ahead and put out there. It's pretty awesome. So we're going to do the usual thing where we're going to play it and then we're going to talk along with the video so we can really dig deep into this. So let's take a listen.
The COVID vaccine, it is up to the states entirely to disperse these funds. We spoke with the CEO of Realty Mogul, one of the largest real estate crowdfunding platforms. She said she is concerned that this will be up
there. It's going to be whatever money's coming down the pike, whatever money is going to be given out and doled out to landlords. It's going to be up to the states. And then, of course, the states are going to put it down to the counties, and the counties are going to put it out to the housing authorities and things of that nature. But then you're going to have to get in line, and who knows how much your certain municipality is going to have allocated. How much is Palm Beach County, Broward, Dade, how much of those counties going to get allocated from this big trough of, what they call it, subsidies from the economic package. So let's continue here.
Painfully slow process.
I think it's staffing and systems, right? The states don't.
Boom. Staffing and systems. What we've seen from the beginning of this COVID crisis is that people haven't been staffed up. What we've seen is that everything from testing to vaccinations, and now we're moving into actually giving people money. And we're asking the government to do this in a timely fashion. Who's going to be managing all this? This just happened. It's an entire new part of government where now they're going to have to be doling out rent assistance. And who's going to get it? Is it going to be the tenant? Is it going to be the landlord? How's that going to work? Nobody has a clue right now. Nobody at all knows what's going on.
Have systems to actually disperse this money. One of the brilliant things I think that happened with the PPP money was that was distributed through existing infrastructure. It was distributed through the banks. Bingo.
So when the PPP thing happened and a lot of people got money they shouldn't have, that was actually done through a bank. Someone who's normally distributing funds. A business that's entire business is put in place to distribute and collect funds. There's no division in a municipality that says we're going to go ahead and judge which landlords deserve to be helped out here.
And what's happening is that certain states, like I mentioned, California and New York as examples, have the infrastructure. Other states don't have it. So they don't even have a system to track it and disperse it and a process.
In other words, she just described a nightmare. What she just described is $1 trillion of money, or however much it's going to be, being dumped into certain locations and municipalities, being run by governmental officials who we already know are inept. Nothing possibly could go wrong there, could it?
Realty Mogul has a $2.3 billion portfolio of 15,000 multifamily units. Hellman says the larger properties her company is invested in have not been hit as hard, but the mom.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. When you got hedge funds and you got pension funds, large financial institutions that are basically using billions of dollars, and they're buying these complexes that are 300, 400, 500 units. That's manageable, because if you do your analysis and you say even 20%, 30% of the people in the complex aren't going to be able to pay the rent, you've got 400 other units that are paying, so you can amortize your risk. So if you're in a position to go out and buy, 50, 60, 70, 100 units, yeah, you can play the game and you're probably going to be okay. And that's exactly what she's finding in her data.
Top landlords, they are in real trouble. Landlords, they are in real trouble. Hit properties her company is invested in have not been hit as hard, but the mom and pop landlords, they are in real trouble.
For a lot of these small landlords, let's say they have 5 units and 4 out of the 5 aren't paying rent, they can't pay their mortgage. And so.
Exactly. Boom. Iceberg. Boom. You're hit right there. You've got a quadplex and 3 out of the 4 aren't paying, you're not going to make it. You got a duplex and neither are paying, you're not going to make it. That's where the problem is. And because that is a problem, who knows where things are headed in terms of potential foreclosures. It all is going to depend upon what the banks do that are holding these loans.
I think that the big question is, how are the lenders reacting? Are the lenders going to give them enough time to get back on their feet?
Yeah. So, I think there's a lot of lenders out there that would love to help out landlords, but just so you know, almost all of this money that Biden's planning on sending out isn't going to commercial landlords. They're going to have to do their deals with the bank. They're going to have to get some forbearance agreements, which I'm sure plenty of banks are going to do. Of course they do. They don't want these dead assets. They don't want these non-performing assets. You don't want to foreclose on a property that's got 3 or 4 tenants in it that aren't paying rent, because you're never going to unload that property and you're going to take on the liability of these people living there. It's a nightmare scenario. But are they going to sit and wait 6, 7, 8, 9 months to get paid? I don't think so. I don't think they're even set up to have that kind of dead assets sitting on their books. It's a nightmare.
Hellman says she's also concerned $25 billion will not be enough. Interestingly, though, despite all this, she says current investment in multifamily is off the charts.
I've never seen demand higher than where it's been. A lot of people who were investing in other asset classes like hospitality or retail, they're moving away from those asset classes because they got hit very, very hard during COVID. There's still tremendous demand for multifamily. People are spending.
And the reason being is, again, like I said, they could hedge, hence hedge fund. You could hedge your bets. And where are all these people who are getting evicted from one place gonna live? You got to live somewhere. Now, if I owned 300 or 400 units, I would take a flyer on someone if they had a problem with the COVID before. I've always said one of the best ways to make money in real estate is working with good people in bad situations. So a guy is back to work here in South Florida. He's 5 months behind. His current landlord says, go away. He shows up at the steps of, giant apartment complex, and they say, listen, you have first, last, and security? He said, yes. Okay, you have a job? Yeah, I just started working again. Yes. Okay, we'll put you in here. I can take that risk. I can take that risk if I own 200 or 300 units, because now if he doesn't pay, yeah, there's a risk that I could potentially have to sit on this this apartment with no ability to evict him. But it's worth the risk because I've got 200 other people paying me on time every single month. So that is smart for the big hedge funds, but small mom and pops, not so much.
More time in their apartments than ever before. And the other big one is interest rates.
Now, low rates will allow for great returns, and that was the case in the last 2 quarters. But as rates are now rising, that may get a lot tougher. Brian?
Yeah, it's going to get a lot tougher. Alligator arms. Again, you didn't need to have the old crystal ball to understand that eventually mortgage rates were going to rise. Once those mortgage rates rise, then what do? You're going to start seeing people pull back. That is coming. I'm telling you right now, you don't need the crystal ball. I'm telling you right now, this is coming to an abrupt halt here in the South Florida real estate market. It's coming. You know it's coming. You better be prepared. And that's all I got to say about that. And when we get back, I'm going to tell you where the money is to be made with all this going on.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So what do we do about all this doom and gloom? I don't mean to be constantly being a harbinger of doom, but there's plenty to talk about that's good. On Monday, I'll talk about something that's extremely good. And I'll talk to you about a market that's absolutely exploding and is on fire and probably won't change for 12 months. Most of the people watching this video won't be able to play in that market. The super luxury market, 5, 6, 7, 10 million, is smoking. Why? There's a lot of people with money. There's a lot of companies moving, and there's just not that much inventory for those type of properties. But we'll talk about that. And if you'd like to look at some properties down here in South Florida, please feel free to give me a call. So what's the answer? What's the answer here if you still want to be involved in multifamily property? Well, I've told you, here's my dog coming in. I've told you many times what the answer is. You see, when you have the government out here looking to spend trillions of dollars on rent in an American rescue plan, when he's going to spend this kind of money, 1.9, I'll get out of here, this advertisement, $1 trillion in an economic rescue, 1.9 trillion, where the government's basically just paying out money, whether it's UBI, universal basic income, or something else that can make you a ton of money in the next 12 months. Section 8 rentals. Right now, Section 8 rentals are extremely lucrative. Why? Well, we've just talked about it. You can't evict anybody from 9 months. From here to September 30th, you're not going to be able to evict somebody. So if you got a piece of property where you know that as of right now, what's coming, you can read it right here. You're not going to be able to evict somebody from September until September 30th. What do you want to do? You want to make sure you have money coming in. And the way to make sure that your rent keeps coming in is to buy multifamily properties and put Section 8 tenants in. Home run. Well, that's touchdown, actually. That's home run. That's it. There's your answer. I never want to be someone who brings a problem without a solution. I showed you the problem. Now I'm telling you the solution. I want to buy multifamily properties. You should want to buy multifamily properties. There's going to be a ton of people out there who need some place to live. But I don't want to go on the hook until September 30th, wondering if you're going to see a rent payment the next month. Wondering if on the 1st you're going to have to chase somebody around. Nope. If you do a Section 8, the government puts that money right into your account every single month like clockwork. You never have to worry about it. It's there. Just go cut the lawn, make sure everything's fine at the house, make sure it hasn't been burned down, make sure they're not dealing drugs out of it. But if you screen your tenants correctly, you don't have to worry about that either. So Section 8 tenants right now are the way to go in rental property if you're going to be a landlord. Now, where's the opportunity? Because, hey, listen, it sounds great, but where do I find these properties? Well, every single property that's being rented right now has potential of having people in it who aren't paying rent, which means you have the opportunity to find a very motivated seller. How many of them know this? How many of them know that people are not going to have to pay rent if they choose to until September 30th? How many of them already are sitting on list pendencies, or not just list pendencies, but they've already filed for eviction but can't do anything? You can look that up. You can actually look up that data and see how many of these landlords are stuck. How many of these landlords are just in a position where, like, oh my God, like Macaulay Culkin, oh my God, what am I going to do? How many people are absolutely terrified? How many people are completely fearful? That's how you make money. That's how you find the deals. That's finding the motivated sellers. There's so many properties out there that have tenants in them who aren't paying, and we just need to relieve the landlord from his stressful situation. We just need to take them from a position of fear to a position where we can profit from it. That's it. I mean, that's it. Does that sound opportunistic? Does that sound like a vulture type thing? Well, that's what we're in this business for. We're in this business to make money. We're not here to be social workers. If it sounds bad, then you're in the wrong business. Every doctor has a client that's sick. That's just how it is. A mechanic only works on broken cars. So come on, people, wake up. This is what 2021 is going to be all about. Basically being that mechanic, being that doctor, being that bastion of hope for people who just are terrified and can't find a way out. Are you with me? Are you ready to make some money? Then now you know what you need to do in 2021 if you want to be a landlord in South Florida. Maybe you don't, but if you do, it's going to be wide open. I will talk to you guys on Monday. Feel free to give me a call if you want to get involved in a deal. I am looking aggressively for partners to work with. Could be you.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.